Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Lefty's Place. Yes guys, I am back with another episode. It has been so long, too long, since I have been here talking to you guys about our favorite basketball team. It's been probably about 2 weeks, right before the playoffs started, and I mean honestly, I've been really busy with my soccer podcast, taking too much time, doing notes and stuff. I'm gonna try changing it up a bit so that I have more time here with you guys, bringing you Miami Heat content. So in today's episode, I want to just talk about the playoffs, how they've turned out, which obviously they've been amazing, and we've had probably one of the best runs, easily the best run in the playoffs since the Big Three era. And we're just going to talk about so far, how they've been, and just talk about all the players and just get into it. So starting with, just how good have our Miami Heat looked since the playoffs have started? I mean, I know there was a couple, worries in the bubble because they weren't playing to their top potential, at least in our eyes, for the standard that we have for them. But man, since they started the playoffs, it's like they're on a mission. I mean, their series against Indiana where they swept them, and then obviously what they're doing against Milwaukee now, being up 3-1 against the top seed in the entire NBA. It's honestly unprecedented what they're doing. No number 5 seed has been up against the number 1 seed 2-0, let alone 3-0. I know we messed up in that game 4, had a chance to just knock them off, but I mean, they're a good team for a reason. And even though they were without Giannis, we gotta realize that they've actually been better with Giannis on the bench throughout these. I believe even throughout these play. I mean, not against the Magic, but against us, 100%. Because in those first 3 games, entering Game 4, he was a minus 36. Like, we're shutting him down. We've set up a game plan to just take him out. And it's working. I mean, obviously, and it's raising a lot of questions on to whether Giannis is going to stay with the Bucks. And this is exactly what Pat Riley was hoping for. We get a matchup against the Bucks, and he builds a team that is literally made to defeat the Bucks. I mean, we got so many bodies to throw at Giannis. He doesn't know what to do. He looks lost out there sometimes. Obviously, in Game 4, those few minutes he played, he was an absolute monster. But honestly, that Game 4 was probably the Heat's worst game, in my opinion. Even compared to the games they had against the Pacers, they beat them by an average of 11, 12 points in that series. So it was no one really expected the Pacers. I mean, for those who don't know basketball, they were actually I could see the Pacers taking the series. Don't sleep on the Pacers. We're sleeping. We slept and we kicked their ass. So let's just go to the players. And of course, it all starts with what Jimmy Butler has done here. I mean, this is exactly why you go for a Jimmy Butler in the offseason. So many people are like, why would you trade Josh Richardson? I mean, he wasn't going to do anything worth of significance. I mean, he could have gotten a little better, but he's not the kind of guy that you're going to build around. He's the 3rd, 4th option on a good team. Jimmy Butler is that guy that's going to go out there and win you ball games, win you playoff games. And just like he showed with the Philadelphia 76ers last season, when it comes to playoff time, Jimmy Butler is a different animal. He's out for blood. And I mean, you got to love it. I mean, I know they always say playoff PG or whatever that nickname is. That's a trash nickname because he's been terrible in the playoffs, and there's been statistics out that he doesn't perform well in clutch playoff situations for Paul George. Jimmy Butler, this is playoff Jimmy. That's a worthy nickname because this guy has taken it to a whole other level compared to what he was giving us in the regular season. All you have to do is look at his 3-point shooting. He was averaging about easily in the 20s in the 3-point percentage during the regular season, and now he's just over 47% from the 3-point line. Bar raised, guys. And that is because of the mentality that Jimmy Butler has. Coming into the season, I remember there was an interview with Rachel Nichols asking him, how he felt about people thinking that this was a weak move to go to Miami. He's gonna vacation to Miami. He loved it. He loved it because he knew what he had here. He knew the organization was top notch. He knew the standards that they have here, and it all aligns perfectly with what he is. He is a dog. He loves everything about Heat culture, and he's just proving everybody wrong that he could be a number one guy on a championship team. He could, and we could win the championship this season. I mean, there's no doubt about it. With the way we're playing now, I understand. Game 4 aside, but even when you think about it, the fact that we were only lost by 3 when we had that bad of a game, I mean, they were not playing the way they usually do. They were making poor decisions, probably just. The thing that I always say about that is that they relax a little too much when they feel like they have it. They just relax too much, and they just can't do that. They don't have the luxury of having, one of the best players in the NBA to just bail them out of games. I mean, Jimmy Butler's a really good player. He's a borderline top 10 NBA player, but every game he's not going to do what he did in game 1 against the Bucks. It's just not going to happen. We can't rely on that. Think about it. Game 2, he had 13 points. Goran Dragic, who's another guy we're going to talk about, just huge in these playoffs. 20-plus points per game in 6 or 7 straight playoff games to start these playoffs. Goes in an exclusive Miami Heat club of just LeBron James and Dwayne Wade to ever do that. I mean, if that doesn't make you think 34 is just a number. This man's 34 years old, has so much left in the tank. I mean, Goran Dragic, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, when Eric Spoelstra put him into the starting lineup, I knew that was the right move, especially with all the Nunn, with how Nunn has been struggling, especially in the bubble before. I knew it was a good move, but this good, best NBA move, good. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see him averaging 22 points per game in the playoffs with 5 assists. I mean, he's the perfect second ball handler along with Jimmy Butler. He's not the second best player on this team. That obviously goes to the Swiss Army knife, Bam Adebayo. But Goran Dragic has just been perfect for us. I mean, he's not gonna be the best every single night. But to average 22 points per game, even if he's averaging just under 20 points per game, we can get by with that. But we need Goran Dragic. It's Dragic, by the way. But we have to get by with him not producing this well if we're going to be expected to do the impossible this season. But yeah, man. But he's been just so good. I can't complain. He's pretty much been the leading scorer for us. I know Jimmy has had those big, huge, he had the 40-point game in game 1, but in terms of consistent scoring, Goran Dragic has been that guy. It's no doubt in my mind. But again, we can't rely on him to do that every single night. We need the scoring to come from other areas. One of those areas being Bam Adebayo, who has just proven that I don't think Brandon Ingram should have gotten the most improved player. I mean, I understand he increases all of his shooting percentages with the same amount of minutes, and his points per game went up. But that's the only area that he beat Bam Adebayo in. Bam had more rebounds. Bam had more assists. He was better defensively by a mile. And he helps his team win way more. I understand. I'm not saying wins don't count. I understand that wins don't count in the most improved. But if your advanced metrics are way better, if he's clearly helping his team win more than Brandon Ingram is helping his team win, then there should be no contest. It's literally a popularity contest in my opinion. It's ridiculous, but I mean, it is what it is. But Bam should have a most improved award on his in his cabinet. It's ridiculous. But regardless, what he's doing in these playoffs is just magnificent, man. I mean, he's averaging just under 17 points per game, increasing those rebounds to 12.5 rebounds per game, and he's leading the team with 5.1 assists per game. I mean, what else you want? And then obviously he gives you that on defense with a steal and a block per game as well. When I looked at his advanced numbers, or his when he's on the floor compared to when he's off, the Heat are 21 points better with him on the floor. Like, that's his net on and off rating. Like, what? 21 points? That's better than anybody. I mean, Goran Dragic is at 17.6, which is also extremely good. But that goes to show how weak we are in the point guard, because none just, like, he's good at times, but he shows that he's a rookie far too often. He struggles in too many areas, and it's just, like, we need Dragic, and that just goes to show, because it's obviously when you fill in none for him in that guard spot, we drop significantly. But Bam Adebayo, like, when he's not on the floor, it's just a different team. It's a completely different team. You don't have that, elbow playmaker to just make so many plays for you. You don't have the rebounding specialist. You don't have the defensive specialist that he gives us. And I can't wait to see how far he can grow. Because, I mean, this guy is going to be one of the best players in our history. And, I mean, and he's just showing it. He's only 22 years old, guys. 22 years old. And he's doing this for us. I'm just so sad that his Game 4 performance, where he had 26 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 assists. Obviously, he gave you a couple blocks. Just went to waste with that loss. But, I mean, because he deserves all the praise that he's not getting. Because he doesn't get enough attention. He really, really doesn't. Because he is in the conversation for one of the best centers in the league already. So, I mean, let's just enjoy what we are getting from Bam Adebayo. I know that there's talks about, man, can he get more aggressive? Because that's how I am too. I wish that Bam can get more aggressive. But, for right now, what he's giving you, you gotta remember, this is his first season getting those significant minutes. And he's doing just wonders with it. And the fact that he's elevating his game during these playoffs, I know scoring-wise he's pretty much about the same, but I mean, well, he is averaging about almost close to 2 more points per game. I mean, that's nothing crazy, but the rebounds are up, the assists are right there the same, but then his percentages, his shooting numbers, he's just so efficient. He's averaging like 5 free throws a game, right? 5 free throws a game and making 88% of them. 88% for a center? And he was shooting like 69% in the regular season. That's that X factor. You can't teach that. To take your game to another level when your team needs it most, you can't teach that. And Bam Adebayo has that. And I have to mention, since I mentioned Goran Dragic already, the Dragon. I'm sure you guys noticed that I have a different headwear for today's show. I just went to Epcot. I just went to the Food and Wine Festival. It was amazing with my girlfriend. And when I went to Japan, I saw a headband that said the Dragon on it. Like, I just felt like it was perfect. With Dragic having his best playoff performance in his career, I had to do it. So you're going to be seeing this for a little while because I'm liking how it looks, So let's keep on going. I mean, Tyler Hero. I was saying it before the playoffs. Tyler Hero is on the rise to stardom. I was saying it. I said it in my last episode. And he's proven me right, man. I mean, he's increased his points per game. He's doing more things off the dribble. It's just, he's got it, man. He's got that X factor. He's got the clutch gene. If you saw Game 4, you saw it. He made like 3 clutch ass baskets to keep the Heat in the game. He actually made the Heat were down by 2 near the end of regulation, and he made a 3 to take the lead. Of course, they made a free throw on the other end, so ended up still going into overtime, and we lost. But if it wasn't for Tyler Hero, we wouldn't have even been in that conversation. And on top of that, he was having a bad shooting night. He was like 1 for 8 up until that point. So for him to just have that mentality that he just doesn't care, he has a short-term memory loss, to just keep on putting it up, even if he's having a bad night. He knows that he needs to be there for his team, and he's making those buckets. We have a special one in Tyler Hero, guys. Really, really special. And at 20 years old, 20? We got some great basketball ahead of us. We got a bright future. Jay Crowder, I mean, getting into the conversation as probably one of the best mid-season acquisitions in Heat history with what he's doing for us. I mean, the intensity on the defensive end, the sharp shooting. He's literally, and like his mentality. He's everything that you want in a Heat player. He embodies Heat culture. I mean, already. He's one of the best. I don't even know why. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've said it before when I would watch Jay Crowder, like when he was with the Celtics and when he was with the Grizzlies. And I just knew that he had that in him. I knew he'd be a good Heat player. But this good, to be having like career shooting numbers and be one of the most important pieces to our playoff run. Sorry, I didn't think that. No way. And I did when we traded for Iguodala. I know barely anybody was talking about Jay Crowder, but when I saw him inserted into that trade, Iggy was obviously the main piece, and it was like, all right, sweet, we're getting a veteran presence in Iguodala, who has been absolutely unbelievable in these playoffs. I mean, this is where his value comes in the most with Iguodala, like because of how smart he is. Probably has the best hands in the entire NBA. The amount of times that players go up, Giannis has gone up and just gets the ball slapped away from him because, I mean, he just knows where it's going to be. I don't know how he does it, but, I mean, it's unbelievable. But getting back to Jay Crowder, when I saw him inserted into that trade, like just as a throw-in piece, I was like, I mean, Jay Crowder is a solid player. I mean, that's awesome. That's going to add into our rotation. Did I think he was going to be starting for us in the playoffs? No. But that's exactly what he's doing, and it's a perfect addition to our starting lineup. I mean, Spoelstra. I even talked about Spoelstra, who's catapulting himself into like best NBA coaching like right now. I know a lot of people will say that the only reason he won is because of LeBron James and Dwayne Wade, but I mean, when have people ever not won with superstars? I mean, honestly, it's still a huge accomplishment for him to have done that. And he's proving people right now that he can do it. I mean, he's been proving it for years, but now he's finally getting the spotlight. You know, he's finally in the playoffs, doing it in the playoffs. And on top of that, I recently saw a stat that said that he's now in like one of the top winning percentages in the playoffs in NBA history. He passed Pat Riley. He passed like Larry Bird recently. I mean, the guy is doing it all and making it happen with like the guys he gets. I mean, he now has that top 15 player in Jimmy Butler. He's got a lot of good complementary pieces. But did anybody think they'd be one game away from a conference final? Absolutely not. I'm sorry. There are some, you know, in the national media that said that, but a vast majority did not give them a chance. But I mean, it's just been so much fun to watch this team just night in and night out, give you that effort, give you, you know, what you need in a championship team. They're showing it. And I'm just super excited to continue to watch them play. I mean, I'm going to be there tomorrow watching the game. I mean, not at the bubble. I'm going to be in my living room watching the game, screaming with my headband. That's me. I'm the kind of guy that just loves to scream at the TV because I think they'll hear me and, you know, take my strategies. But yeah, that's probably not how it works. But anyways, that's going to finish it up for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed my, little recap of the playoffs so far. I'm going to be I'm going to put more effort into bringing out episodes after every game, kind of giving you guys a little recap of what happened in the games. I'm going to focus on that. So if you guys like the video, hit the thumbs up. Make sure you guys subscribe, and I will see you later.